Manufactured hysteria, manufactured outrage, if you recall, caused Twitch to offer me a 7-day ban for anti-white racism because I called someone a cracker-ass bitch. Let's talk about what happened. On January 28th, 2026, I was covering another news story, as always, that somehow tied back ICE's military occupation on American cities, specifically in Minneapolis, to Israel's military occupation of the West Bank and in Gaza. And this is something that I've talked about quite frequently, a concept known as imperial boomerang. The violence that we dish out over there ends up coming back to the home front, to the home territory, to the domestic front, and is used on American citizens. And in the process of this coverage, and I'm going to play you a video of the 2-minute and 30-second incident. In the process of this coverage, I used certain terms that Twitch had made a violation of the terms of service a year prior. Let's take a look at the video.
The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Preddy was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
What's more likely is that they filmed his fucking face and they put him on a watch list. As Ken Klippenstein reports in his exclusive, Sparta, Reaper, and Grapevine track protesters and their friends, plus others, ICE's secret watch list of Americans. We have a nice little database, and now you're considered a domestic terrorist. A mass federal agent taunted a protester filming him in Maine last week. How do I open up super chats? How do I do any of that stuff? I don't know. Is it easier to read than Twitch? I think Ludwig has made some plugins made to YouTube chat to mimic Twitch chat. Might be worth asking him about. My coworker Ludwig. I don't know how to do super chats and all this other stuff. I don't know if it's like GG's too late for this stream, maybe next stream. But no user card. I don't think you have super chats on. You need to register. You need to register for super chats. Yeah, my coworker Ludwig, coworker Wig, switch the chat from top chat to live chat, and there's a drop down arrow so you can see all chat messages. Oh, I wasn't even on live chat. I was on top chat. That's why it was so slow. God damn, I'm such a freaking boomer, man. Streamers that stream on this platform, please message me and tell me how to do all this stuff. I have no idea how to do any of this stuff. Oh, this is too fast. This is too fast. This is too fast. Okay, now I have no idea how to make sense of any of this. Okay, in any case, let's get back to it. I'm going to, oh my God, this is impossible to comprehend. Okay, as I was saying, I'll just talk about this stuff and then I'll talk about my ban and then I'll get to all this other stuff in a second because there's probably a lot of people that are in here just now. There's a lot of people that are in here currently that I suspect want to hear about what took place and why I'm live streaming here instead of live streaming on Twitch as I normally would. As I was saying, on January 28th, I was covering an article from my friend, investigative reporter Ken Klippenstein, about ICE making a list of anyone who films them. This was about Alex Peretti. I was talking about Alex Peretti's assassination. Prior to this commentary, I had talked about how Israel and ICE's tactics are very similar to one another. This had offended the sensibilities of a lot of people who are pro-Israel, people who are anti-ICE, but were very pro-Israel. A lot of liberals who are anti-ICE but pro-Israel got very mad at me on Twitter, as many of you know. This article also showed something very important, though, that the relationship between ICE and Israel was far more consequential than even the way that I had presented it. Let's take a look. Remember this video? We've covered videos like this on numerous occasions on this broadcast where ICE agents will walk up to counter-protesters, will walk up to protesters and film them in their faces and go, smile, you're on fucking camera, you're on a watch list now. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin's response was firm. There is no database of domestic terrorists run by ICE. There's just one problem. She's lying. 2 senior national security officials tell me that there are more than a dozen secret and obscure watch lists that Homeland Security and the FBI are using to track protesters, both anti-ICE and pro-Palestinian. This is another big suck my dick to all the fucking Israel dick riders out there, you fucking rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. You fucking run around going, oh my God, Israel first, Israel first. Why are you tying this back to Palestine? Because this is precisely the fucking same shit. Okay? That's it. That is the reason why I got banned. That is the reason why I ate a fat 7-day ban on Twitch. Okay? You might not have even picked up on what the reason was, but that was it. How crazy. This line right here, rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. Now, one might ask the question, why rabid ultra-Zionist pigs is even a banned term? Unfortunately for all of us, the ADL last year was looking for any and every opportunity to apply pressure for the last 2 years, as a matter of fact, post-October 7. The ADL was trying to apply as much pressure as possible on Twitch because I was the Apartheid Defense League's #1 op. They cynically smeared me as an anti-Semite over and over again, even though I'm basically the strongest last remaining soldier combating anti-Semitism on the internet, pretty much, especially at my size. They kept cynically smearing me as an anti-Semite. It didn't work. Obviously, the adults that work in media were like, this is ridiculous. We've seen Hasan's work in this field. We know he's not an anti-Semite. It doesn't work with Democratic Party politicians in general, especially ones that aren't, directly in the pocket of Israel, unlike Richie Torres, who also participated in this ADL back smear campaign. But in the process of trying to make things as difficult as possible, when you were engaging in commentary about Israel's violent desires and Israel's genocide, ADL was able to successfully enforce a new terms of service violation. This happened last year. The Apartheid Defense League got Twitch to make Zionist a protected identity. This is precisely the reason why on this platform, on Twitch, you can say someone is a Nazi pig. On the platform, you can say someone is a Democrat pig. Someone is a Republican pig. You can say someone is an Islamist pig. But you cannot say Zionist pig on Twitch. As a matter of fact, I've said all of those things on the platform. I use terminology such as that with regular frequency because I don't use slurs. I try to avoid hate speech, and that's precisely the reason why, with regular frequency, I will call someone an animal, a donkey, a dog, a pig, things of that nature. But of course, the ADL offered this new form of suppression, and Twitch played ball. And the reason why they played ball is because the ADL still has a lot of institutional motion. I will, however, say this is in spite of the endless amounts of enmity that Twitch has received. So, all things considered, I think most other corporations would have probably dropped me a long time ago, especially with advertiser pressure, especially with the insane amount of stalkers that have been doing a one-man Gamergate, working in tandem with the ADL, working in tandem with like pro-Israel politicians in general. I think most companies would have dropped my ass a long time ago. So I will still say that in spite of this infraction, Twitch, I think, when it matters the most, has at least allowed me to continue streaming. Okay? And that's what I care about. That's what I care about the most, to be able to continue my commentary. Okay? A lot of my naysayers, a lot of my haters that have tried to make my life a living hell, make the lives of so many other content creators on the platform who are pro-Palestinian, their lives a living hell, routinely suppressing their speech, routinely deplatforming them to limited success, taking away their revenue streams in general. They do this because they can get away with it. And that is part of the reason why there are a lot of people who are shy about speaking out against Israel, even though many people at this point agree that Israel is a violent entity that is committing a genocide. And not only is it a violent entity built around a violent ideology known as Zionism, which is a Jewish ethno-religious supremacist ideology that is exterminationist in principle and is routinely exterminating and engaging in ethnic cleansing in both the West Bank, which is an apartheid occupation, and in Gaza, where there is a genocide. Okay? This is no longer a controversial matter. And I've been saying this far before most people actually came on board with this concept. Most people understood this concept. So, of course, I'm not going to stop saying that. I'm not deterred at all. These kinds of setbacks don't actually stop me from speaking on these issues. As long as I have an opportunity to speak in front of people, as long as I can still continue speaking truth to power, offering a voice to the voiceless, I am going to be able to do that. I'm going to continue doing that no matter what these groups do. Okay? That's it. It's that simple. And you should do the same. You should remember that we have the numbers. I know that it feels scary at times when you see people like myself get humiliated, tarred and feathered by sometimes straight up pedophiles. In many circumstances, straight up people with sex assault charges, things like that. People who are really gross individuals. And you see that, and you see the stalking, and you see the harassment, and it deters you. It stops you from speaking out. But the reason why they do all of that, not just to people like myself, but to people like yourself as well, kind-hearted, empathetic individuals who care about others, the reason why they want to make you feel like a stranger in your own community, to make you feel as though there aren't other people who have that exact same opinion, is because they're terrified of the numbers that you and I represent. There are more of us than there are of them. So when stuff like this happens, you just got to fucking eat it. It's just a minor setback. You just got to continue. It'll blow over. You're just going to keep doing what you must do. Do not be deterred. Do not be fearful. Do not be afraid of speaking truth to power no matter what. And I'm going to continue doing that till the day I die. Now, that's one aspect of the Twitch ban. To me, we will look back at this in a couple months and treat it in the same way that we did the cracker ban. Manufactured hysteria, manufactured outrage, if you recall, caused Twitch to offer me a 7-day ban for anti-white racism because I called someone a cracker-ass bitch. Years later, at an official Twitch-sponsored event at TwitchCon, I was making fun of that cracker ban alongside, the Twitch CEO. This will be seen in the same way. And what's so insincere about this is that regardless of all the naysayers who are doing victory laps currently, everyone knows it's bullshit. The ADL knows it's bullshit. Twitch knows it's bullshit. You and I know it's bullshit. If I'm going to be as charitable as I possibly can, I would go so far as to say, the only people that don't think this is bullshit, that like, oh, Hasan, finally, he got banned. He got a 7-day ban. He got a 7-day ban. Oh, it's here. The only people that are entertaining the seriousness of this ban are those who are fucking hysterical. They're insane people. And I'm sick and tired. I am sick and tired of having to deal with other people's madness, with other people's insanity. Why do we, as a society, have to be constantly at the mercy of some of the most psychotic, mouth-breathing, zero IQ fucking losers? Why? I say no more. I say no more. So, sure, I got banned for 7 days. I appealed it. There's an appeals process. There's a new appeals process. They reduced it. Okay? I'll be back on Twitch eventually. I'm already, not even your biggest haters are saying that they want you banned, but this is a really fucking stupid reason to. Well, maybe I've only seen people like Los Pollos. This asshole, who I gave a W to just yesterday because apparently he was, apparently he was actually fundraising for communities impacted by ICE. I want you to understand something, though. I want you to understand something. The clip I'm about to show you is another peer of mine. This is another content creator in this space. Think about how fucking racist this shit is. This was his reaction to me getting banned last night.
What's good, chat? What's good, chat? You know what the funniest part is, bro? You know what the funniest part is? All someone said to me, literally, I got a DM. The terrorist is banned. So immediately, I knew what they were talking about. Which is the sad part, is that
This is the sad part.
that's what people call him. But, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, he'll be unbanned. He'll be unbanned within, I mean, who knows? What's
Like, there should be an environment of shame. There should be at least a little bit of social stigma. Calling a Muslim pro-Palestinian Twitch streamer a terrorist like this just rolls off the tongue. This is exactly what I've had to deal with for the past 2 fucking years. Now, many of these guys have the audacity to still turn around and say, oh, I love free Palestine, bro. I don't fuck with that kind of stuff at all. Right? I'll show you another version of this in a second. Okay? But these guys for the last 2, almost 3 years now, endlessly has fucking smeared every single pro-Palestinian content creator, many of which are Muslim or Arab, as terrorists over and over again. Okay? Over and over again with no checks whatsoever. I want to show you this inconsistency because, like, people will try to say I'm a bad person. People will try to say I have crazy ideas, you know? I say wild things. But a lot of people don't see the other side of this at all. A lot of people don't understand that if you are in any way, shape, or form pro-Palestine, especially if you're Arab, I'm not Arab, I'm Turkish, or Muslim, you are constantly eating this shit, and you're expected to eat this shit on a daily basis. Have some fucking shame, man. It rolls off your tongue so easy. Same with Ethan Klein. Same with even Asmongold. And there is no one around them that goes, hey, bro, don't do that. That's kind of fucked up, don't you think? And there is no institutional control around this either. So on the one hand, anti-Semitism, which is a real bigotry, is not only treated with baby gloves, but beyond the baby gloves, it's cynically deployed against people such as myself, even though I'm someone who has combated anti-Semitism and will continue to do so. But it will be cynically deployed against people who have the audacity to speak out against Israel. But then there is no such institutional control or institutional stigma applied to Islamophobia. It's ridiculous, man. It is so fucking ridiculous. It's so frustrating that people are constantly expected to just eat it. Okay? You just have to eat it. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to sit there and you just have to watch all of these other people who are your peers who will probably be welcomed back to the spaces that you go to after calling you a fucking terrorist over and over again. It's insane to me. Now, I don't want fucking, revenge or anything off Los Pollos. I think he's a dumbass. And I think he's pretty funny. Okay? I think he's a very funny guy. I think he's a little misguided. Okay? Let's just put it that way. Maybe you don't feel that way, but I feel that way. There are far more cynical, far more sinister people in this space that we're in that work tirelessly to make this a more toxic space for others. Myself included, but certainly for a lot of people who have similar opinions to people like me that want to make this a better place for those who often get left behind in these conversations. Okay? I'm sick and tired of having to eat it, though. I can't be solo tanking this shit all the goddamn time. You know? So if you're in the audiences of all of these people, like, you can check them. You can check them. You can be like, hey, man, I don't think that's appropriate to say. Okay? We got to get a little bit better. We got to get a little bit better with the way that we treat other people. Okay? Now, having said that, I'm going to blast off. Okay? I'm going to blast off. I haven't done so yet. And there's already 100,000 people in here watching, it seems. I mean, the number keeps swinging wildly. Maybe people are tuning in to see what is up and then tuning out. I don't really know how this stuff works at all. I'm learning on the fly. Many people probably don't learn on the fly when they start streaming on YouTube for the first time ever. Now, this is one aspect of, my ban. My ban is utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. It's going to be all right. And, we will recover. It's not that big of a deal. I can tank this kind of shit. But there is an inconsistency that I must mention here. Because you saw the silly-ass reason why I got banned on Twitch. Okay? Twitch has banned myself for my comments on ICE tracking Alex Peretti. Hasan Piker has been banned for 7 days using the phrase rabid ultra-Zionist pigs directed at people defending the use of washes to track anti-Israel protesters in the U.S. The same lists are now being used to track anti-ICE protesters like Alex Peretti, as revealed in King Klippenstein's reporting yesterday. Twitch's hateful conduct policy states the term Zionist may not be used to attack individuals on the basis of their background or their religious belief. It also states using the term to refer to a political movement, whether in a supportive or critical way, does not violate our hateful conduct policy. Now, of course, even though it technically doesn't violate the hateful conduct policy because it's a criticism of an ideology, an ideological movement, because Zionism is a protected group, if you say Zionist, insert whatever, animal, it's still considered a violation of the terms of service. I went through the appeals process as well. I'll be back on Monday. Having said that, there is an inconsistency that I must address. And the inconsistency is that Twitch responds to public pressure. Twitch responds to public pressure, and there is an unlimited amount of public pressure when it comes to trying to take out and deplatform the largest left-wing, progressive, anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist content creator in North America. That's part of the reason why I have to fucking eat this dick all the time. Whereas no similar pressure or stigma is ever enough to offer a similar consistent standard to the likes of Asmongold. Many of you probably know who Asmongold is. He pops off on this platform quite a bit, a lot more than he does on Twitch. Over the past 2 months, Asmongold has openly advocated for Somali Americans to be pogromed, stripped of their assets and citizenship, and deported. He has fantasized about taking over the government in order to have his trans critics murdered by the state. He has called Muslim members of Congress parasites, and at no point did Twitch take disciplinary action. And if you want to know,
American, what country do you want to deport them to?
You just said it. Somalia. I want to denaturalize them. I want to seize all of their assets. And I want to send them back to Somalia on a one-way flight.
these are Somali American citizens, infinitely more important members of American society than Asmongold is. They're productive, they're business owners, they work at businesses, they drive Uber, they have lives, they have children here. 95% of them are U.S. citizens, and this is what Asmongold is saying. And this is what Twitch is allowing. And I repeatedly said this over and over again when I saw this kind of sentiment coming from Asmongold, who also happens to be one of the largest political content creators in North America as well, on the right-wing side. Twitch is very afraid of the backlash that they will receive from the likes of J.D. Vance and the entire institutional Republican Party. When I get banned, you're not going to hear AOC come out and be like, "What? How dare you ban Hasan Piker?" You're not going to hear Chuck Schumer certainly say, "How dare you ban Hasan Piker?" But when Asmongold gets banned, J.D. Vance will come out and defend him, because the right will always offer people, no matter how radical they are, institutional support. That's precisely the reason why you see J.D. Vance talk about Nick Fuentes, who is an open neo-Nazi, talk about the importance of keeping people like Nick Fuentes in the movement. It's that simple. There is no institutional support for those on the left. So we must create our own defenses. Okay? It's that simple. It's that simple. If nobody's got us, we got us.
That's what I want. It's that simple. I don't want these people coming to our country and scamming us, and then for us to pay money to keep them in jail. That's what I want. What would you have the police do instead if you were them? What would be your course of action? Genuinely curious.
This is where Asmongold was upset that the police were protecting the Somali population, Somali American population in Minneapolis, and he urged people to go out and do violence and terrorism to the police.
I would create a situation where the police would be afraid to defend these places because they would be worried about being persecuted. This would cause the police to leave and completely disband the police force. This would allow the companies and the people in the area to be effectively completely lawless and turn it into anarchy. That would make it completely chaotic, and these people would then become terrorized by the people that are in this community that they are somehow trying to enable, right? And so the goal is for that to happen and to make it as unpleasant and awful for them as possible, so that way they realize the mistake that they've made.
This is an incitement to violence, not against like just random Somali people either, which already is inappropriate, but this is an incitement to violence against police officers. It's a call to action.
It's the goal.
Largest right-wing content creator in North America right now.
Is over. They'll have to add laws and regulations to free speech in order to not protect hate speech. Being allowed to maliciously spread misinformation without consequences, and thus normalizing fascist propaganda, is bad for a country, actually. I've got really bad news for you. Is that, what do you think happens whenever people like me, or people that are more extreme than me, inevitably get control of the government? What do you think happens to all the people that were tweeting nonstop about trans kids? What happens to them? And now you can see why these people are so extreme. It's because I think on some very, very base level, they know their days are numbered. There is not any degree of activism, virtue signaling, crying, like victimhood that's going to save you. It's going to happen. And it's your fault. It's all your fault. US is over. They'll have to add laws and regulations.
He's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic, and Islamophobic.
Whoever runs a campaign on taking parasites like this and kicking them out of our fucking country, I will vote for them. I am so sick of these clowns that come here from foreign fucking countries, advocate for their own foreign fucking problems here, and then they call us racist when we say, what about America? This is outrageous. This is an insult.
Just want to remind people that Ilhan Omar was recently attacked by someone who shares a very similar sentiment to Asmongold. That person is now in prison. 10 DUI champion. 2-time divorce champion. Separated forcibly from his children. Went and attacked Ilhan Omar because he shares the same opinion that Asmongold has. Not saying Asmongold was responsible for that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not directly tying it back to Asmongold, but I'm saying that this kind of rhetoric is directional. Not only is it inappropriate and untrue, Ilhan Omar is a queen. Okay? She is brilliant. She's courageous. She's resilient. I love her. And it's totally unwarranted. But this kind of rhetoric also invites this kind of action. The kind of action that Ilhan Omar experienced, unfortunately. The kind of reaction that Ilhan Omar received, unfortunately.
There's no such... Islamophobia is a made-up word that's invented to stop criticism of Islam. Phobia. Islamophobia. Get the fuck out of here.
We know that he called African nations a shithole.
Because they are. They are shitholes. What are you talking about? You can see piles of bodies in satellites in the Sudan. That's a shithole. It is. It's a shithole. Like, what are we talking about? Are we going to pretend like it's not?
Nations a shithole in his first administration. We know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And
he said that he stopped Muslim immigration from 7 countries at the beginning of his first presidency that got denied, by the way. And there are more than 7 Muslim countries in the world. There's like 50 something. What are you even talking about?
So it is not surprising that he is going after black immigrants in this country. And it's certainly not surprising that he's choosing a black immigrant community that is also Muslim.
Of course, right? It's not because of the fraud. It's not because of the welfare.
Anyway, you get the point. You get the point, right? It doesn't end there, though. It does not end there. So, I still haven't blasted off, by the way, and I'm not even so certain as to why I should blast off at this point. But the reason why I'm drawing this comparison is because not to like even demand Asmongold get banned. I've never actually demanded Asmongold get banned, in spite of the fact that he has actively tried to get me banned, and in some instances actually successfully got me banned off of Twitch. Because unlike Asmongold, I do believe in free speech, and although there are limits to it, and I think that if there are these sorts of limits, he's violating them all the goddamn time. But it doesn't just end there either. Let's take a look. Asmongold advocated for ICE to run over and shoot civilians in the face immediately after the murder of Renee Good.
Well, hey, maybe they shouldn't be in front of the car. The thing is that you're never going to convince these people that it's not, okay? Like, it doesn't matter. The only thing you have to do is crush them. You crush them completely. You never go, like, after you say, basically after you run one of them over, right? Or you shoot one of them for trying to run you over, then you victory lap around it and you send in more people and you do it even more. That's the only solution. That you're never going to win these people over. You're never going to explain it to them. You're never going to be like, oh, well, why won't you see my point of view? Because they don't want to. Why not just shoot the tires? So that way you make the car unsafe and some other innocent bystander can get hurt indiscriminately because the person didn't follow the law? Nah, bro, you shoot them right in the fucking face. They said to stop the car. They said not to do this. They said to get out. And she's walking around, driving around. What are you talking about? Absolutely not. You shoot them right in the fucking head. Well, hey, maybe they shouldn't be in front of the car. The thing is that you're never going to convince these people that it's not.
Just 2 weeks prior, Asmongold called all African nations shitholes and called Congresswoman Ilhan Omar a parasite while bringing up her Muslim background. He received no ban for this racist rant. Thankfully, he didn't use the word Zionist pig, though. This inconsistency is one that goes far beyond Asmongold. This is not just about Asmongold, okay? I need you to understand, this is the same inconsistency that exists for all right-wingers, all the way from moderate right-wingers, if such a thing even exists, all the way to neo-Nazis like Nick Fuentes. What do I mean by this? They can say whatever heinous thing they want to say, and because they're on the right, most people on their side will never turn around and go, hey, man, maybe you're going a bridge. Maybe that's a bridge too far. Maybe you're going a little too far. Maybe dial it back a little bit. However, God forbid anyone that says, hey, I think better things are possible, ever says anything that could be seen as too angry. God forbid. Then you'll have no institutional support on the liberal side. No one is going to come to my defense. No one is going to fucking be like, well, maybe we shouldn't do this. Okay? And the entirety of the right will cynically come after you as though they don't get away with this shit on a daily fucking basis. Okay? But like I said, all things considered, I do suspect that because of all of the incredible amounts of pressure, other corporate companies, other corporations probably would have banned me a long time ago, as opposed to Twitch just allowing me to continue. Here, I posted, that I'm live. Here it is. This is going to be my blast off tweet. I don't know if I can just like spam. Can I spam? And then pin it. My point is, My point is, this inconsistency exists all the time. That's precisely the reason why the Trump administration can get away with screaming bloody murder on a daily basis. The president himself can incite violence, can foment hatred towards ethnic minorities that are American citizens on U.S. soil. And then the entire right will turn around in the aftermath of another shooting and say, wow, the left sure is violent, huh? The left sure needs to turn down the temperature. Bitch, the left? The fuck do you mean the left needs to turn down the temperature? Your president is regularly demanding violent backlash towards ethnic identities on U.S. soil that are American citizens. And you're talking about the left? The podcasters on the left? Are you out of your mind? I'm sick and tired of this inconsistency. I'm sick and tired of this double standard, okay? This double standard only serves to normalize right-wing rhetoric, no matter how violent it is, and it only serves to punish leftists. We got to get a little bit better about dealing with this stuff, okay? That's it.